When I was 18, I was about to go to college and I had everything together. Well, almost everything together. I was a closeted gay teen going to a highly conservative college coming from a Southern Baptist background, but other than that, I had everything together. And I thought my entire time at college was gonna be the best time ever. I was gonna make straight A's and be on the honor roll and be one of those people that you see in alumni magazines that did everything correct and had a perfect career afterwards. And I discovered in my spring semester of my first year that depression was a thing and I was going to enter into it. I'd never had any kind of feeling like this before, so when it first came, I just sort of skipped all of my classes and almost failed out, and my parents were very concerned. They had no idea what this was. I had no idea what was going on. I came home, everything was sort of better. Went back the next year, same thing happened. Went back my third year, slightly better. Went back my fourth year, same thing happened. It was an amazing thing that I graduated at all. When I got home, my parents consistently thought that there was something wrong with my willpower, that somewhere along the way I had lost whatever drive was there and I needed to get it back, and that one of the great ways of doing this was praying for it to return. And I prayed that whatever was going on would stop, that I could go back to being normal, whatever that looked like. It didn't. And whenever I talked about how this prayer wasn't going to work out and how it was not being answered, I got what I love to call conservative evangelicalism bullshit theology 101, which is, one, sometimes God just says no and you have to deal with it, or two, God says, well, you're just gonna have to wait and I'll get to you when I get to you. This is stupid. This does not work, and this was not working for me. I didn't know what was going on, and if God was just going to sit there and tell me I had to suffer with this and forever not be able to hold down a job or keep friends or not have impulsive decision-making problems and spend all of my money on a trip to nowhere for no apparent cause, then I was not going to make it for much longer. I had gone back to Chicago for a weekend with some friends, and when I got home, I had another one of these major spurts, and I was about ready to quit my job and hide under my bed and do whatever else it was that would make me feel better for 2 minutes. But I didn't, and I went and saw someone. Finally, went and saw someone, and they were like, maybe you should go see a psychiatrist. And I went and saw a psychiatrist, and they took one look at me, listened to my story, and was like, oh, you're bipolar. And I thought, And it came with two things happened at the same time. One, I was like, yes, there is an answer to this. I have not been just doing nothing. It's not my willpower that's wrong. This is amazing. The second thing that happened was I went, fuck, no one is going to ever want to be with someone who has bipolar disorder. Secondly, you're never going to be able to have a job or be normal. Nothing is going to work out for you any longer. They gave me medication. The answer to that question is, yeah, you can. I'm doing pretty well right now. But along the way, I had to figure out what was going on with this prayer thing. Now, by the time I get to now, I have a better idea. But all along the way, this journey was confusing, because why would God make me go through all of this? I was drained to nothing. I didn't have faith much anymore by the time this whole entire thing was over. Throughout the years, I have reflected upon this entire experience. It's not the only time God and I have had these kinds of conversations. And while I would like to believe that at some point in time God was this omnipotent, omniscient creature that would be able to tell me exactly what was going on and I would just follow these rules, and if he said no, well then it's best for me, I've had experiences where that clearly isn't the case. So what do I have to believe now? Well, God stayed with me through all of this, and he was there whenever I needed him to be there. He was there whenever I asked questions and I just didn't know what the answer was. And the answer I came up with was neither did he, or they, or her, however you want to say it. And I think that's the most comforting thing that came out of this. Sometimes God doesn't know what's going on, just like I don't. Sometimes we're both in this together. And isn't that a better experience in a relationship than just someone who tells you one day that you're not supposed to do something or not get what you want? I mean, come on, David asked for his friends to die, and sometimes they did. So if my bipolar couldn't be solved, something was wrong. Anyway, at the end of the day, I have a God that now just walks with me and not someone who dictates everything that I'm supposed to do. Thanks, y'all.
the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God.